And good evening, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Art Club show. This is such a pleasure to always have you back, to always invite you to this beautiful show where we always have a beautiful guest and amazing new experiences for you guys. I am your host for today, Val Wanyoike, and I cannot wait to introduce you to our guest for today to talk to you about various issues, about art, the beauties of it, everything that surrounds it. So sit back, relax, and get a cup of coffee or tea because it's a really, really chilling weather, I know. But we are here to make your day and hope you stay excited. Welcome back to the Art Club show.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, good to see you.
Everywhere, GBS.
Hey guys, welcome back. Remember that you can watch the uncut, unedited show fully on YouTube at GBS TV Africa, and you can also text us on our SMS line that is at 21144 in case you have any questions for us, you have any clarifications you would want. Always be free to talk to us. I am about to introduce the guest for today. It's such an honor to have him here. He's such an amazing artist. I really love the flow of his music, and he's so much more. He's in history, so we have so much to learn from this guest. Without further ado, welcome very much to our show. I will let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Val. My name is Monaja. I am an artist, performing and recording artist, and I also am a historian by training. And I'm privileged to be in your company.
It's such a pleasure to have you in studio today. Thank you so much for taking your time to come and sit here so that we can have this beautiful conversation. So where are you from?
I mean, wanasemaga hakuna mtu anatokanga Nairobi. So originally Meru, although most of my life I've been in Nairobi.
Yes.
A number of estates, Upper Hill, Langata, a number of areas in Nairobi, but I'm originally from Meru.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's ancestral home.
Oh, okay. That speaks a lot about also your music, by the way, because you sing some of your music in your mother tongue.
I do.
Which I think is very beautiful. We'll get into that. You mentioned that you had just like a few years where you were in the States, or you said in Australia.
It was in Australia.
Yeah, could you speak a bit about that? How was it going there, even if the experience was short? How was it?
Yeah, so I mean, I really have very vague memories of because I left the place, I was like 2 years old or something.
Ah, you were really young.
But my elder siblings are the ones who really had an experience there because they were much older, or they were significantly older at that time. So yeah, I was born there, stayed for, I was really a toddler.
Yeah.
And then relocated to Kenya. And yeah, the culture shock, trying to, because for me, it's funny that I actually rap in Kiswahili and Kimeru.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, wow, like, because these languages were hard for me. Even Kiswahili itself was hard for me. But it's only later on in life that I got a grip and I began mastering these languages. And yeah, tunazidi tu kujifunza.
I noticed that your music is very melodic. You also do a bit of rap, but most of your music is like really melodic R&B and all of that.
Yeah.
And you have this song. It's called Ntamburuki Angoro, which means to soothe my soul.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about that and what does this song really say to people? What was it that you were trying to say?
Yeah, so, I think art usually has different interpretations. So when I wrote that song, I was coming from a place, I think we had some sort of fallout with a friend.
Okay.
And forgiving isn't an easy thing. So that's why I was saying like, Ntamboroki Ankoro, soothe my soul and give me the energy to forgive this other person.
Yeah.
So when I wrote that, the different artists who wrote their verses came with a sort of political message. So when you look at the video, it's scripted around the story of a former home guard who assassinated a Mau Mau fighter.
Yeah.
And now later on, this person now becomes an influential politician. And now it's a curse that, the way Africans believe in curses. Afro cinema continue.
Yes.
So now the cast now comes full circle. Like he's a politician, but he's sickly, even though he's like in his 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And then haizi shina amani, like constituents wake, kuna venye tu kila time wanapatana nayo na bumburusha. So he goes to the witch doctor to understand the source of his problems, of the curse. And now the witch doctor shows him a calabash with water, and that takes him back to his younger days when he killed the Mau Mau fighter. But it was really based around the assassination of General Baimunge, who was one of the Mau Mau generals in the struggle for independence.
That's really, really deep. And the way you express it in the song, by the way, I couldn't even tell that whole story. That's really, really deep.
Thank you.
Again, I want to speak about your music journey. Did you study music? Because I feel like the way you structure your songs, the way you write your lyrics, and you didn't even like go to art school or something.
I mean, okay, sisi watu wenye 844 ya kitambo.
Yes.
Sisi si wa CBC. 844 ya kitambo tulifanya art, craft and music. I guess that's as far as training, that's the farthest that I have. But everything else was mostly self-taught. Of course, there's some people who, maybe there was a producer who told me, flow like this, kick, snare, this is how you're supposed to arrange your lyrics. But largely, it was self-taught, just listening to music over and over, listening to different kinds of music, rock, Kimeru music itself. Some of the songs my grandmother used to sing to me.
Yeah.
In fact, when you look at Ntamboroki Ankoro, that's just the Meru rhythm. That
True.
So that's really where I got my music training.
Okay, that's really, really beautiful that it's something that you adored from your soul and you decided to go with it. I'd love to get into your school life, studying history and all of that. Talk to us a bit about that. I feel like with the way we started, like people would just think you're good in music, but you did study other things and you actually lectured. So talk to us a bit about that.
So I think like music, I think the roots of me learning history comes from, I think, my love for history ever since an early age. Because even when I was in class 2, class 3, I would read books for class 7. I just used to like the stories. Samori Toure, this is a guy who was resisting against the French Empire in West Africa.
Yeah.
So I remember I'd read, we'd call it the workbook, GHC workbook, Geography, History and Civics. So I'd read, and then I'd find myself in the middle of the night, like I was just lying on my bed and it was probably like 9 p.m. and then it's 2 a.m. and I just slept when I was reading.
Oh my goodness.
So later on, of course, I go on high school, do history. Campus, I do a first degree in sociology and history. I pick up music then. I'm really serious with music right after high school. I'm going on to campus. And then it wasn't working out, so unajua unapigwa pressure maybe na mabro, ni aje si uchukue kitu kingine, fanya kitu kingine. Yeah, I know music is good, like music, but si ufanya kitu kingine. So yeah, that's what gave me that nudge to do a master's degree in history. And I've been doing consultancies to date. I lectured in Machakos University College. It was a beautiful experience to get younger people challenging you to understand what you have done. And yeah, so that's about it.
That's really, really interesting. Also because of that family dynamics part where you do love doing this, but then your family is not really supportive. How were you able to like just get out of that and follow really what you wanted to do, and even like go as far as starting to compete in these rap competitions and getting into these events, music events?
Yeah. I think, yeah, when I was in campus, because even before that, I wouldn't say that my family was not supportive.
Yeah.
But I definitely, at a certain point in time, kuna venye unaachiliwa. Unaona, so you now explore the world for what it is.
Yeah.
And you feel like ever since a child, I was always close to music. I was always a musical child. So nilikuwa najirusha kwa ma talent search. Nikaenda pia some of these, there was an event called WAPI, Words and Pictures, that used to be at a British Council. And then there's Kwani Open Mic, still goes on today.
Nice.
Yeah, so I used to, those are kind of F2, those are some of the platforms that I used to hone in my skills. So yeah, it was exciting, it was challenging. Na tunazidi.
Okay. Yeah. It's really, really good to know that you've tried to venture in different places and you have a love and passion for such different things, by the way. I feel it also like helps in how you structure your music, you know, having good history, ethics and all of that. There's this song called Kanyaga Kubwa Kubwa. What were you trying to say in that song?
Hiyo ngoma ilikuwa na, basically hiyo ngoma venye niliandika ilikuwa na 3 themes. Like, ilikuwa first theme ilikuwa hawa say maybe time yenye uko unafanya well kwa maisha alafu anajaribu kurudi kwa maisha yako. So nilikuwa kanyaga kubwa kubwa. Then second verse ilikuwa, because it was actually like 2 months before the election, ilikuwa how politicians will come back to you during the campaign time.
Yeah.
Naona hizo miaka mitano tena wanaona watu, hata waoni watu kama watu, wanaona watu kama kura.
True.
So yani we MCA o MP o governor amerudi after 5 years na ni aje nataka kura zenu. So for all of those 5 years hakuna kitu amefanya.
Yeah.
Ama hakuna kitu significant amefanya. So unaona we kanyaga kubwa kubwa, unaona. The third verse ilikuwa pia ilikuwa ya first story ya ex kukurudia, lakini nikamwa kidogo achanganye kidogo. So kanyaga kubwa kubwa ilikuwa, you know, hiyo Kenyan humor tu.
Yeah.
Ni phrase yenye nilitoa kwa Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Kanyaga kubwa kubwa, unaona. So
that makes sense by the way kuiweka kwa song. Inaweza kuwa related in like a lot of fields. Yeah. Okay.
So ndipo kulienda.
Okay, sawa. You have this rhythmic, particularly it's like some African type of beats.
Yeah.
Mbona unapenda kutumia that type of flow or that type of sound?
I think a number of reasons. Kitu one, we are Africans.
Yeah.
Ni kitu ya kwanza. Na when I was growing up, when I started out, nilikuwa na rap na hiyo American accent. Lakini unaona hapana wezi rap hivyo kama Jay-Z, wezi rap hivyo. That's their life.
Yeah.
So you have to draw on your experience, your sounds and so on.
Try be a bit original.
Yeah. And Afrobeats do their own thing. Like what's wa Nigeria, they do their own thing. What's wa SA ama piano. So nikaka, and then also some of the guys who were releasing songs, when you look at bongo, like the early bongo walikuwa natumia an instrument called zeze. It's like a harp. So unasikia hiyo bongo ya kitambo, like maybe in the early 2000s, wait. And even hata hizi bongo za siku hizi, it's just like tarab yenye imefanyiwa some sort of flavor, different flavor. So that's why I was like, we also have our sounds. If it's a song like Ntamburu Kiankoro, we use the Wandende. If it's a song like Hauna Kismat, we use the Wandende and the jingles. These are some good shit. If it's Meankene, that was now that's a typical Kimeru sound. We used our drums, we used the shakers, we used, so yeah, so ni ile tu kurudi kwa tamaduni zetu, showing that we have roots here.
Yeah.
And we are proud of our sounds, and we should build up on that.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes artists, I know it's not really like you wouldn't say somebody's not righteous just because they didn't go like fully African in their music, but it really like brings some type of attention when somebody is going into their tribe and like singing songs from there or trying to like get in tune with it, and in that journey teaches you like a lot about the tribe, about where the person is from, the music. Like when I listen to your music, I feel so much, I can't even explain it, but it does feel like there's so much tradition in it, especially the beats. There was this song that you had the whole costumes in it and everything. Meankene. Yeah. What does Meankene mean?
Meankene means borders, bordering areas.
Bordering areas.
Bordering areas.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So it's Tuture Naderia Antoba Meankene. So it's like the guys who live in bordering areas usually live peacefully. It's just that from time to time, you find that maybe there's a conflict between the Boranas and the Merus, there's a conflict between the Maasai and the Kamba, there's a conflict between, but for the most part, like if you say 365 days, maybe 350 out of those 365 days, they have been living in peace.
Yeah.
Because I think the cause of that, or rather what inspired that idea was I was doing some research work in 2017, and I visited a place called Kena in Meru, which is a boundary between Isiolo, which is Borana mostly, and Meru.
Yeah.
And I found Merus and Boranas intermingling. I found Merus cooking injera, which is Borana food. I found them sitting down, drinking, just sharing stories. And I'm like, wait, but I thought this place was ever violent.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. That's not the case. So I was like, we're trying to emulate, all of us should try as Africans. I come into this space as an African rather than a Kenyan. I think the boundaries that were introduced to us were not ours.
Yeah.
Naona yuli kukoloni. So I think we should think of ourselves more as Africans rather than Merus or Guyus or Kenyans or Luos or Teso. I think if we think of ourselves as Africans, then that kind of mix pushes us to be more humane in our interactions with our fellow Africans.
It does.
So, nearly quite idea.
Okay, that's really, really interesting. I'm really curious about something.
Yeah.
How was it like lecturing for you? Especially when you really had like this calling to do like music and all of that.
Yeah.
How was it like you getting into a class? Did you feel like this would be my life, or did you feel like, okay, things are gonna be different, or maybe I could give this a shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the parts that I liked about the job.
Yeah.
Parts that I didn't like about the job, but I liked the exchange. The way students would even challenge me, and I was a type of lecturer who I did not like, like reading from the book. This is what so and so said. I liked it to be interactive. Like, this author has written about this. This other author has written about this. What do you guys think? Mm-hmm. Because I think a good way of teaching is getting the students to think. A good teacher is a person who makes the students think. And good students are the ones who teach the teacher. So I tried to make myself as accessible as possible for the students to challenge me. And they challenged me. Yeah. And they tried my patience on several occasions.
Yeah.
And so I liked that part, because I would prepare lectures. I would have to ask their viewpoint and then interact with their viewpoint. But I guess the formality of it is kuvaa suti, kudress formal.
Yeah.
You see some of the students, English is not their first language. mtu ametoka Kericho, mtu ametoka Narok, you see that they're struggling.
Yeah.
Hiyo kitu ilikuwa sikuwa naipenda. Nilikuwa naona yani why can't they just write it in Kiswahili? Why can't they? Ama hata Sheng. I was like, you guys, and I even told them, you guys, unfortunately, in our curriculum, the medium of instruction is English. But ingekuwa poa hata mngeandika hizi paper zenu na Sheng. Ni vile tu ni mimi ndio nitakujiwa, you know. But yeah, I could see their frustrations. I tried as possible to help them. And yeah, so it was a beautiful experience. It also served as a break for me. I think when I got into that job, I took a break from music for about a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was eye-opening in a
different
number of
ways.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. By the way, I feel like such experiences along the way really like open up your mind and just somehow make you better in a way, even though maybe you are not at the point where you want to be at, but it just shapes you correctly, yeah, to where you want to go to. You've worked, and this is, okay, it's not like surprising because of like the things that you've been through, what you've done, but you've been in various political causes.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about this, by the way, see like just why and what interests you and why it interested you in the first place. So the first one is prison reforms. Why first do you support this cause?
Yeah, because I mean, prison inmates are human beings just like us.
Yeah.
Of course, whatever they might have done, whatever they did, or whatever got them to prison, got them in prison, might not have been good.
Yeah.
But then again, sometimes you also find yourself, it can be accidental. You can buy a second-hand phone, pigiwe simu, ukujiwe na makarosa, where did you steal that phone from? And you innocently bought that.
And that happens right now, like so much.
Exactly.
I wish people knew, like, we're just like elevated in like knowing a lot about that, because it happens a lot and people just don't know it. Yeah.
So, and then my friend was a former inmate. So you're working on something political with your friend, and you're like, wait, this is what he has been championing. So let me help in this.
Yeah.
Let me give whatever help I can. So he has a group called Mneti Huru.
Mneti Huru.
Yeah, Mneti meaning prison or prisoner, and then Huru, of course, free.
Yeah.
So free prisoner. So he works, or they work, or we work with former prison inmates, trying to integrate them back to society, because the stigma they face from their families, it's really heavy on them, it's hard on them. So they have no place to sleep, they have no money to buy food, and because of that stigma, because they can't get a certificate of good conduct, they just find themselves back into crime again.
Yeah.
You know, and for the most part, they don't do that because they like being bad people or anything. It's just circumstances. People have to survive.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's how I found myself there, and yeah, we've been working on that.
That's really exciting, by the way, especially knowing right now it's not very many people who actually fight for the rights of prisoners. And sometimes I feel like there's this part of people trying to keep prisons open for like the longest ever, because it's just want people to keep going back there, but they're not trying to sort out issues of when these people leave this institution, how can we make spaces for them? How can we welcome them back to the society without making them feel like they were never really part of it first? And maybe even looking for jobs, it becomes hard.
Yeah.
They become hard to like accept back into the society, and as you said, end up back in there just because of one or two things that they do because they need to survive. So that's really good that you're working on things like that. This, like, those types of people don't have a lot of people to support them, and a lot of people to like talk on their behalf.
Yeah, well, you know, you just share whatever perspectives they have, and because I haven't gone through that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think maybe the broader question to ask ourselves is, why does crime occur? Why is it that a certain segment of the population finds itself or partaking certain part of town, which is, when you think about it, when you think of the economics of it, you feel that this area is wealthier, this area is poorer, and that now takes you to the history of colonial Kenya, where certain parts were white, for white people, and certain parts were for Africans. And these parts that were Africans, the poverty there was high.
True.
And so it's not that God didn't just make crime. It's the situations that people find themselves in. It's a structural issue that we have to think of equality. We have to think of doing away with inequality, which is a product of colonialism. This is not just, it's a man-made thing.
Yeah. It's
not a natural thing, in my view. It's a man-made thing that ought to be dealt with and addressed.
It's interesting the way you said it, that it's a man-made thing, because we humans are the ones who are responsible for everything that happens. It's not that something else came and caused it. So it all starts with us, and if you want a change, it should be from where you are in the next generation. So that's really, 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 really important. You also support other talents, which I really, really admire. Tell us a bit about Seketa.
Seketa, wa?
Yeah.
Ulifanya research mpaka hiyo. Seketa ni sanaa endelevu Kenya, Tanzania. That's progressive art Kenya, Tanzania.
Yeah.
When I say progressive, the word is art that is, how would I say, conscious, that speaks to political things, that kind of aims at changing certain aspects in our society. And these are, so what I did is I got in touch with a number of Tanzanian artists who I've interacted with over the years.
Yeah.
And some as early as 2014, those time I did a show in Arusha. And so I thought that, we could learn from Tanzania, and Kenya and Tanzania could also learn from us.
Yeah.
So we had 6 artists from Tanzania, 6 artists from Kenya, and then there are also another group of younger artists who would observe what we're doing, the discussions we'd have. Because I think in whatever you do, you have to think of the guys behind. When I say the guys behind, the guys who are younger, to continue what you already begun. And it's not, actually, let me correct myself. We did not begin because there are people who are there before us. There are people who are Kala Mashakas and Ndungi Githukus. Those guys who used to make such music are the ones who we are drawing that tradition from and going on. And the guys who are younger are the ones who are going to now, maybe when we are older, na nitakuwa natembea na walking stick hivi, and the ones who are now going to carry it on. So yeah, we had, I think it was about 5 days of, just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And then the second last day there was a performance, and then the last day we recorded some songs.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so we haven't yet released them because we feel that, we need to possibly do some videos for them.
Yeah.
And so we hope, the plan is to go back to Tanzania next year. As they visited us last time, so we visit them again next year, and then we can possibly work on the videos and maybe other songs.
Okay, that's really nice. Bringing artists together like that to learn from each other and feed off of each other's energies, it's like a really, really interesting way to grow talent and to also learn from each other. And actually the best way to learn in a field is by joining as one and just, sharing and feeding off of each other's energies and all of that. So that's really, really important. Do you feel like all these things that you've been doing, do contribute to your music journey and like help you out in a positive way, or maybe grow you as a person musically and as a person, your characters more?
I mean, definitely, definitely when you interact with people more, it's, you know, art is just the experiences that you've been through are the ones that ground your art.
Yeah.
We could even be in a matatu and you say something and I'm like, wait, that's a nice song. That's a song that I could use, the title of a song or a phrase I could use in a verse. And so that interaction between Tanzanian artists and Kenyans and Kenyan artists, I definitely learned a lot. I definitely, you know, because even the Kiswahili itself. Hey, Swahili.
Yeah, the Swahili is just addictive, by the way.
It's so like, ile sanifu yani unaona.
I don't know why, whenever I meet like with somebody speaking that Swahili, I just end up smiling at them for some reason.
Because you don't even know how to respond. Because I you know, like I recall there's a time, some years back, I think I was visiting a studio and the guys who are in charge of the security in the studio are Tanzanians. And then I recall that when I got into the studio, I was wondering why it was so quiet, because studios, you know, play the music.
Yeah.
And then, then I asked the guys, hey, Kwani, because, you know, I just smattered a few words. So they were unable to place me, like as far as, is this guy Kenyan or Tanzanian?
Oh, yeah.
It had not registered to them. So, hey, mbona kumenyamaza hivi? And the guys looked at me and they were like, umeme umezengua. I'm like, what are you saying? Ati umesemaje? Umeme umezengua. And I'm like, oh, then he's like, ni Mkenya. Oh, ni Mkenya. Stima zimepotea. So I'm like, okay, sijui nimetukanwa. I don't know whether I've been insulted. Like stima zimepotea.
Yani hiyo ndio alitumia kukutoa like to establish
when in Kenya, stima zimepotea basi.
Ati umeme umenengua.
Umezengua. And it's actually supposed to be like that. Umeme is electricity.
Yeah.
Stima is just the light of a bulb.
Yes.
So we actually use it wrongly. Umeme umezengua.
Enyewe, like it's so specific.
Yeah.
That's why I laugh. Sometimes that's why I laugh, because it's like, okay, how can we not know this Swahili? How do they know so much Swahili words?
Yeah, but yeah, so it's again, like, we are Africans. We can learn something from our brothers and sisters from Tanzania.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we call ourselves Kenya, Tanzania, but for the most part, these are names that we did not give ourselves. Maybe Tanzania more, they gave themselves because they came up with, Nyerere is the one who decided to come up with the name Tanzania. Like Tanganyika and Zanzibar, and then the ancient kingdom of Azania.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, which is the coast, so Tanzania.
I am today years old too, because of knowing this. Thank you for
Kenya,
that.
Kenya was a different thing.
No, it was a whole different thing.
Yeah, Kenya was Mkamba aliita hii Kenya, then mzungu akasema Kenya. So Kenya.
And I hear, by the way, Maasais are the one who like were in Nairobi, like they're the ones who dominated Nairobi.
Actually, many of these places, Nairobi is a Maasai name, Naivasha is a Maasai name, Nakuru is a Maasai name, Uasin Gishu is a Maasai name, Laikipia is a Maasai, like basically.
How are they so many, like all over?
See, they were nomads. They would move.
Oh, they'd move around.
They would move around. So all of these names are mostly Maasai.
That's interesting to know, by the way, about the Tanzanian name. I didn't really know about that. Do you have any projects? Any things you're working on, albums?
Yeah. So I'm working on an album.
Yeah.
I mean, even the 6 tracks that I released, the 6 videos that I've released this year are all going to be there, but I'm going to include more. Okay. It's going to be called Melodies na Rap.
Melodies na Rap.
So
it sounds just like you.
Sindio?
Yeah,
but this one is not, it's more of a compilation rather than a conceptual album. It's just a number of songs that I recorded over a fixed period of time, and I just want to put them out. I won't get into the concepts of it. I think the second one that's going to come also next year, God willing, will be more conceptual. It will be more skits here, skits there. This song is connected to the concept. So yeah, so maybe by end of January, we should have something.
Okay.
It's a listening party.
Lazima to come. Lazima to come to support, by the way. I really, 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 really love your music. Honestly, guys, like, even the ones that are not in English or Swahili, I loved the melody. Like, I really loved the way it flowed. You just, as long as I have like the words down there, maybe to like know what it is that you're saying, I would listen to it. Like, I really loved the one that soothed my soul. For some reason, it just resonated with me. That's why I really wanted to know why and what exactly you were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Nkoro, my heart.
Yeah, your heart, Nkoro.
Yeah, so I really liked that one.
Thank you.
And the way it flowed and everything was really, really good. Yeah, so I'd love for you to tell our fans, tell our people about your social media handles, where they can find you, if they wanted to listen to your music. Maybe some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you really want to go and listen to his music, then here's the chance to have that opportunity. I'd want you to just introduce your music, where they can find it, your social media, and just some last words for artists who are coming up and are trying. Maybe there's somebody who loves singing in their own local language, but are like, okay, are people gonna listen? Are people gonna like support? Is this going to only reach the people who can understand, you know, that's people in my county or something? Just a bit of advice for the people coming up, people who are trying to get into music, into art, people who are in school but still feel like they would like to do music or some other things. Yeah, just to feel like, okay, you're not alone. You can also do this while still doing this because you've been through that. Yeah.
Monaja mwenyewe on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Monaja mwenyewe, M-O-N-A-J-A, mwenyewe. On all of those platforms, you're going to find my music, particularly the latest videos that I've done, as well as a number of freestyles. You're going to find that on my channel, Monaja mwenyewe, on YouTube. So yeah, subscribe. You're going to get notifications of other releases. The advice to up-and-coming artists, I'd say, find out why you're doing music. Find out why you're doing music and keep on. And the reason should be a reason bigger than you. It shouldn't just be about you and how you're going to make money and that sort of thing, in my view. So find out why you're doing music and stay on course. Stay on course, keep walking, keep journeying. Peace.
Thank you so much, Monaja. It was such a pleasure having you on Art Club Show. Thank you so much for taking your time to come here and to talk to us.
Thanks, Val.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in today's show. You are always welcome. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had an amazing time listening to this conversation. Monaja is such an amazing artist, and I've learned so much from him. I've also learned over a different genre of music that I really liked. So go and take a listen to his music. See whether you like it, see whether you can support him in different ways. Support him, go follow him on his social media. Remember, you can watch the uncut and edited version of this interview on YouTube. That is at GBS TV Africa. You can also text us on our SMS line. That is at 21144. Remember, I've been your host for today, Val Wanyoike, and you can reach out to me for all your styling needs, photography, and all of that at Val_Wanyoike on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys, and have a beautiful weekend.
Yeah.